Many people kept approaching me, where's your restaurant at? Why you don't have a restaurant? It's 11-hour drive for us, but it's still worth it.
I could have felt we should have recorded this after lunch. I'm hungry.
Yeah. The oil field crashed, took a heavy dip back home in Louisiana, 2016. If the future is uncertain, why am I spending time in college? It kind of made me reevaluate what I wanted to do.
What drives you, right? What you're passionate about. You're doing something not because you think other people are gonna like it, but that's who you are.
Justin is the kind of person that if you need ideas on things, he's got it.
My business partner, Michael, he used to always say, keep it fresh, new, and exciting. If you get stale,
You get forgotten.
Bam! Here we are again, the Bam Biz Talk podcast. And today we're going to have a fun show. We got Marty G'S Cajun Eats. We got father and son dynamic duo here, Marty and Justin Gautreaux.
That's it.
There you go. I got it. How you guys doing this morning?
Fantastic.
Doing great,
Good.
doing fine.
Good.
Man, so, this is, I like this because Cajun in West Texas.
Right?
The West Texas Cajuns, and y'all are making some noise. Y'all have been, I want to find out about you guys, how you got started, why West Texas, coming from Louisiana, and then bringing culture out here, right? And authentic, adding to the mix that we have developing here in the Permian Basin. Lots of things happen here in the Permian, right? And we're talking about entrepreneurs sticking your neck out, going for it. And that's what the show's about. We want to find out how you got into business, why you got into business, the obstacles, the troubles that you're having through business. And I'm going to be, listening to you guys and picking up little golden nuggets that we can throw out there, little bombs out there of wisdom for the entrepreneurs that are listening to us today.
Sure.
So Marty, Justin, man, I'm interested to hear about your story. So is there a particular way the idea came out? Is there a one mastermind? If I would look at it, I think it's you, but I don't know, man.
So the idea came around during COVID. It was after I was traveling for a photography company I used to work for. We used to go everywhere and do soccer tournaments, and they had food trucks at all of these tournaments. And as someone who has a passion for cooking and also entrepreneurial spirit, I was trying to think of some way I could have a business that I would like to do for myself. And watching these food trucks every weekend sell out, that's something I wanted to do. And after COVID happened, we didn't have any more jobs for photography. Travel was restricted. So I called my dad, who was living out here, and pitched him the idea of starting a food truck out here. And he went with it, and here we are.
Mm-hmm. So it does take the dynamic duo to do it, huh?
That's right.
Yep.
So what was the first thing when you were like, what, food truck?
Well, I moved here in 17 for the oil field. Major oil company I used to work for sent me here, relocated me here in 17. And in 18, I got involved with UTBB football, the UTBB athletic department. The guy that was actually the athletic director for UTBB originally comes from Louisiana. And him and I were friends back at UL in Louisiana.
Okay.
Well, when I heard he was out here, we got in touch and got together and stuff and got to talking and everything. And the first thing he asked me, he said, man, please bring the tailgating party out here. He said, because there's not much tailgating going on. So I got a couple friends together that were here in Midland that were from Louisiana also, other Cajuns, and a couple other guys. And we started a crew to start tailgating. And the crew, we called ourselves the Crew of Permian Cajuns. And we started the tailgating. And we had the tables, the chairs, the big tents, and we do cookouts and stuff. And when we first started, the first tailgate we did, we only had maybe 20 people at our tailgating party. And there was only us and the UTBB alumni that had set up the tailgating. Well, Scott, which was the athletic director, being he handled the tailgating activities back in Louisiana, he knew how to set up the spots and how to set up everything, the activities for tailgating. And So he got the spots and stuff, and then we started promoting it to other businesses, other people to join the tailgating group. We got put on TV channel. The local TV station picked us up and interviewed us and stuff. Well, bam! It started blowing up. Other tailgating started coming. And like I said, our first game we were feeding about 20 people, maybe. By the end of that season, we were feeding over 400 people at each game.
Yeah.
And it just excelled.
Mm-hmm.
So I took a liking to that, and many people kept approaching me. Where's your restaurant at? Why you don't have a restaurant? Why you don't have something over here? So I started thinking about that too. But I was thinking more in line of a restaurant type thing.
Okay.
And then Justin called me and pitched me his idea about the food truck. And we kind of just joined together our ideas, me doing what I've been doing over here and him wanting to do what he wants to do. It was kind of like a basis, a perfect fit for us to start doing what we did.
Right.
And so that's how we got the idea started, and that's how we got rolling.
Yeah.
It was really his idea about the food truck. My idea was about the activity, the catering, the partying, and the other stuff like that. So that's how we kind of conjoined ideas together.
This would be interesting. So was your idea that you had in your head for the food truck, and then your idea for the restaurant, was it both Cajun?
Oh yeah.
So that wasn't even a question.
Oh, yeah. That was a given. That was a given because at all the tailgates, that's what we did.
That's what it is.
We and the way we structured the tailgate parties was people would come in there and everything was free to the public. Us members would donate our time and our monies to buy the products and buy the food and stuff like that. And then I also had some company sponsors that would come in, and I let them put up their flag and their banners and advertise at the tailgate party. So all that was falling in place for me very smooth on how we could promote the business. He had the idea for the business itself, and I had the idea how we could promote it and how we could push it.
Yeah.
And that's how we kind of fit it together, fit everybody together.
Yeah.
But it was always Cajun in mind, because, over here there's not much access to Cajun food,
Right.
And the real Cajun food. There's a few imitators out there and a few wannabes, and which I'm, okay, good, try it, but we are the real thing,
So you still source everything from back home?
Oh, yeah.
As much as possible, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. All our products come from Louisiana. We got all our boudin products, which we have the boudin links, the balls, and the egg rolls, all boudin products. That comes from Louisiana, a place in Rain, Louisiana. And then all my sausages, all the meats that we use, the tasso, the sausages, and all that comes from a Louisiana-based company, too. And we have all that brought in. Man. So we support local stores here, too, as far as the vegetables and the other stuff that we cook, we get locally here. So we are supporting the local businesses big time here. But the basic core products that we offer on our menus, our beans come from New Orleans. It's all the Camellia New Orleans style beans. So it's when we say it on the trailer, it's authentic, the real, it is. We can prove it.
Yeah.
We can prove that we're authentic.
And it makes a difference in the taste, right?
Absolutely. You're not going to get Louisiana taste just anywhere.
Right.
Other than from Louisiana.
No, and we're close enough to where, hey, that's feasible, right?
Oh, yeah. It's a little logistics involved in getting the products way out here,
Yeah.
It's 11-hour drive for us, but it's still worth it. Because of the authenticity of it, just to say that we are authentic and mean it. That we can prove it. Mm-hmm.
So your menu, like what's on your menu? How do y'all design it? How do you know what you want to serve? Do you do do you change menu items? Would you see something's not working? Like, what's your theory? What's your strategy behind it?
So our menu was made to reflect our Cajun culture, So we have our core 4 main dishes on there, which is our chicken and sausage gumbo, crawfish étouffée, which is our best seller by far, naturally our red beans and sausage. And we first started with a jambalaya, but I realized out here, a lot of people weren't responding to the jambalaya so well. It all got some spice to it,
No, so, like heat, like temperature.
Oh, yeah. You serve it hot. And
that could be a reason, too.
It was kind of the thing you hear about, like, people come up to the menu, they're looking, it's Cajun food. So they start looking down the menu. Oh, chicken and sausage gumbo, that sounds good. Oh, étouffée, that sounds good. red beans, that sound good. I never had any of those. Well, would they see the jambalaya? Oh, I've had jambalaya. I don't want that. It's always one of those too familiar things. And
right. Makes sense.
my thing was, well, you never had my jambalaya. So
yeah, but how do you get that across?
exactly. So it wasn't really translating too well when we first started. So a couple months, I'd say about 6 months after opening, I switched to a pastalaya, which is pretty much the same idea of as jambalaya, but it's made with pasta. It's a little prettier dish, It's a little more eye-catching, and people haven't heard of it, so it's an attention grabber.
I've never heard that.
Oh, really?
Now I'm kind of interested.
Yeah, exactly. See, people see it on the menu, they say, oh, what's pastalaya? And then I show it to them, and then they want to buy it because they're looking at it,
Yeah.
So it's been a good addition to our menu.
I could have felt we should have recorded this after lunch.
Right.
No, but that's interesting. So that's a really good point, and I think that's a golden nugget for people to pick up on, right? Just because there's a dish out there that's popular, that people know it, right? Oh, you have to have that on the menu. If you can't call yourself Cajun if you don't have that on the menu, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then the reaction that people get is like, oh, I've had that before.
Correct.
Man, they serve that at the Golden Corral, man. What am I gonna? What are you gonna show, right? But then it's like, well, how do you communicate? Okay, not all jambalaya is the same.
Exactly.
Right? Not all Cajun food is the same. Not all Mexican food is the same. Just because it's Mexican food or Italian food doesn't mean it's, like authentic as possible, right? It's going to have the right flavors.
It's a million ways to break an egg, and same with dishes. There's millions of combinations of ways to prepare one dish. And just because I make my dish this way, you make your dish the exact same way, we're going to have two different tastes. It's just that's just how cooking goes.
So, like, I'm hearing you, and I'm seeing that you're creative, right? Because you worked as a photographer, you said, for 5 years in the sports world.
Yes,
right?
Sir.
Strictly
we
pictures
did
for sports.
Yes, sir. Team photography.
Okay.
Yep.
Like, how'd you get into photography?
So I was actually taking a break from college. I was at UL for engineering, and at the time, around 2017, the oil field crashed. Took a heavy dip back home in Louisiana. 2016. Mm-hmm. I was going into my junior year of college, and oil field took a major crash in Louisiana. That's what sent my dad over here. At the time, I was part-time in the oil field and also going to college. Of course, I got let go. Well, it kind of changed my whole career path, thinking, well, maybe this isn't for me. If the future is uncertain, why am I spending time in college? Mm-hmm. So it kind of made me reevaluate what I wanted to do. So I decided to take a year off. And in that time, my buddy had a job opening, which was the photography company. So I figured, hey, I'm a college kid taking a year off of school. Let me go travel for free. So it was supposed to be 1 year, turned into 5 years because obviously it was such an amazing job. But I was experienced to a lot. It opened me up to the world, also to different foods. I got to travel and see different cuisines and stuff and really figure out my passion and what I wanted to do in my life, which came to be around cooking,
Yeah.
And that's kind of what, all paths diverge to where you're ultimately going to go, so call it fate or whatever you want to. But I'd say everything happens for a reason,
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. This is the journey, right? You never know what's going to happen.
That's right.
Right. You always turn something that's a negative, man, find the silver lining.
That's
Where's
right.
that? Yeah. Play to your strengths. You came back to something that's creative and, what drives you, right?
Mm-hmm.
What you're passionate about, and that's what you followed, right?
Right.
I love what you said, all paths diverge into, where you're going to be at, where you're at, right? Because that's living, I guess that's living authentic.
That's right.
Right? Like you're doing something not because you think other people are going to like it, but that's who you are.
Correct. Yes.
And when you are who you are, well, people are going to like it.
Right.
Right?
You got to be comfortable with yourself.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So that's a great bridge right there. Because I was like, so why'd y'all name it Marty G's? Like, why did you choose Marty G's?
Actually, I had no idea what we were going to name it, how we were going to do this. He did it again. He came up. Justin is the kind of person that if you need ideas on things, he's got it. I mean, just about on anything, as far as naming things or whatever you want. If you need an idea, if you're stuck in a box, if I'm stuck in a box and I see just the inside the box, he's the one that can pull me out of that box and he broadens it.
Yeah, I love that.
He does it. He's always been that kind of person to do that. So he's the one that came up with the name. I was coming up with all these extravagant names. Not extravagant, but these wild Cajun names.
Putting all the letters and
Yeah,
X's,
you know, I
the
was
E's, the
trying to
A's.
come up with some kind of catchy Cajun phrase, you know, or something like that. And he came up and he said, "No, let's call it Marty G's." And it's like, really? He said, "Yeah." He said, "It sounds classy. It sounds proper. So he did it. That's how we come up with it.
To me, it's just got a certain ring to it. We grew up with a restaurant near our house called Charlie G's for a while. And I always just liked the ring to it, you know, and I always kind of said to myself, if I ever got, when the idea started coming around that I wanted a restaurant, that I would name it after my dad. And I just always liked the way Marty G sounded. It rolls off the tongue well. It sounds good after, you know, you put the Cajun Eats after. It just sounds like a good name.
Cajun Eats.
And also I found that I think it was not expected, and I wasn't thinking about it, but until I got out here and people from, you know, Texas and other parts of the country, they see the name and stuff and they relate it to Mardi Gras. They think it's related to Mardi Gras, so it kind of fits perfectly. It was unintended, completely unintended.
Went over my head.
But people who aren't familiar with the culture, you know, of course they've heard of Mardi Gras and they see Marty G's and they're like, oh, like Mardi Gras, huh? Well, I gotta tell them like, nah, it's spelled a little different. You know, it's not it, but hey, I like your enthusiasm for it, you know?
Yeah. That's a synchronistic fit.
You're right, exactly.
Yeah,
it goes hand in hand.
Everything relatable.
Absolutely. I like that. Because, I mean, that's where y'all from.
That's right,
that's what it is, right? So I got a lot of ideas right now I want to talk to you guys about later. But yeah, we have some Mardi Gras little fest out here or something. You know,
we did the big Mardi Gras over here this past year. We have 2 trailers, you know, and this past year the TV station again actually interviewed us and put us on their thing on Friday mornings where they did a big thing because for Mardi Gras we had the 2 trailers in 2 different locations doing Mardi Gras celebrations. We had the beads, the throws, I had even prepared a little write-up of what Mardi Gras is and gave it out to everybody. And we actually did the little actual Mardi Gras, throwing the beads and everything.
Yeah.
And showed people what Louisiana Mardi Gras is about.
Man, yeah, that's the fun times. Good times, yeah.
Yep.
So 2 trucks. Okay. Well, I guess tell me the process of like how did you get the first truck and then how long did it take before you got another truck? And
so we all his parties and stuff before I got out here that I was telling you about at UTBB. He had a tailgate truck, and of course we got the food truck. We got that in action. About a year later, we decided to branch out and use a small truck as a crawfish ball truck exclusively to do crawfish balls during the season. And last year we only did about 4 crawfish balls total.
No,
this year
last year.
Our first year we only tried it probably about 4 times, and of course it went really well. So this year we decided to hammer it. You know, we wanted the whole entirety of crawfish season. We were on it, if not every weekend, twice a week. You know, we got after it pretty good. We sold upwards towards 5,000 pounds of crawfish.
6,400 pounds.
Wow.
From May, we started the second week of February, and our last ball was May 30th. So from February to May 30th, we did right at 6,400 pounds of crawfish.
Wow, and that's crawfish season.
Yeah,
that's the height of crawfish.
That's the height.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's the good part of it.
Okay, but it extends a little bit farther out here into the summer. Or?
They get smaller as winter approaches. It gets smaller. They go into the mud.
Gotcha.
They start burrowing.
And the crawfish come out around that time. And normally, I don't care to do. I did crawfish balls with the crew permit Cajuns over here prior. You know, I did some for them too. And normally, I don't start my crawfish boiling until about March, because that's when the water gets better in Louisiana. The crawfish size gets better and everything else. So we normally wait till about March. But this year, the demand was so high, everybody kept demanding it early in February, and they kept contacting us to do crawfish balls and let's go. Everybody was excited for the season to start and let's get it going. To finally, I decided, okay, we're going to start early this year. So we actually started in February. But most of the time, up until this past season, we always wait till about March to do it.
Okay. March, so it's spring season.
Yeah. That's the primo season for crawfish. That's when they're at their peak growth and the size is pretty, the meat is pretty. It's just from about March to May. Well, mating season. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's springtime. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Crawfish like rabbits, huh?
Yeah. The only thing about crawfish, it really depends on the weather too. You know, when the water starts changing back in Louisiana, where the crawfish come from, the water has to be certain temperatures for them to come out the ground and start growing. You know?
It was a good season this year because last winter Louisiana had a very mild winter. It didn't get very cold, so the crawfish it was a good season this year.
So the warmer it stays overall,
Overall,
the better
yeah.
season you're gonna have.
The better outlook you're having on the next season, the next harvest.
How was Louisiana affected when we had snowpocalypse? When was that? You remember that?
Yeah, that was actually my first year here. That was my welcome to Texas.
You brought
Because I moved here November 1st of that year. And within 3 weeks, we were in negative digits. And I was like, oh, what have I got myself into? 'Cause I'm coming from Louisiana where it's 45 degrees and that's freezing to us. That's, we don't go outside anything under 50. And I came out here and it was below. I was like, wow. So this is the desert.
Either a snow desert or a regular desert.
But Louisiana, I think they got 4 or 5 freezes that year.
Mm-hmm.
They got it bad that year, and it correlated to the next crawfish season.
Yeah.
Come springtime, crawfish were small, shells were real dark and hard. It wasn't too good of a year for crawfish actually that year.
They stayed burrowed.
They stayed deeper, longer, so they didn't have time to come out and start growing.
Right.
They were cold.
And just when they come out, it's just they're eating, right? That's why they're growing. Okay.
Eating, feeding them. They molt. They shed their shells, grow into their new pretty red hard shells. They get bigger when they do that, and all that's part of like their mating process. Before they go back into the mud.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, that's super cool. Like you understand the whole cycle that they come from, and that's what you're serving to people.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I like the knowledge there, man. Like I love learning. So yeah.
That's the thing about that. Everybody in Louisiana learns at an early age about crawfish and where they come from. And you got to know what you're eating. It's not like we just go buy it off the shelf and I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna eat it. Oh, it's good. Okay, let's sell it. No, we know our products. We know.
And a lot of things are seasonal too, so you got to know when you want to get it too. You got to be anticipating on when it's going to be good.
So that's super interesting, man. So you're doing that. So now you have 2 trucks, right? You have authentic food from back home. You know your product. Like, so when you're designing your menu and you're saying, hey, I got this, but this isn't selling. So you switch it out for something that now has a fresher look on it, right? So that's a little golden nugget, man. My business partner, Michael, he used to always say, keep it fresh, new, and exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So got to constantly keep something going. Mm-hmm. Always keep, because if you get stale,
you get forgotten.
You get yeah. So, like what does the future look like for Marty G's? What are y'all, you're going to get more food trucks, have a fleet of food trucks or?
So a funny thing about our business that has gotten my attention is in the 3 years we've been open now, we haven't changed our menu. We haven't had to, which surprised me because I thought we were going to have to change our menu the first summer because, like our menu is mostly based off of a winter food, like gumbo, etouffee, red beans. It's all very hearty food that if you go back to Louisiana right now, nobody's cooking gumbo, like that's just not a thing during the summer. Yeah. But out here, we've been selling it. People love it. So it's one of those things, if it ain't broke, don't bend it, so we haven't changed it. But we're getting to the point where we want to be a little more versatile. So we got some things coming this fall. We got a few ideas we're going to test out, and we're changing our business model a little bit. So people in Midland got something coming to them from Marty G's, that's for sure.
I like to hear that, because you don't hear that from business owners much. We're going to change our business model, right? The language, that's our language. That's band language. We love to use that because it's a simple way to say, how does your business work? Mm-hmm. Do you know how your business works? Mm-hmm. Right.
Right.
What's your business model?
Right.
All right. Okay. Well, then it's like you're putting together a little car set, right? A train set. It's a model, right? Putting together Legos or whatever.
Right.
Make one of these. So how are you putting your business together, right? And you're rethinking that.
Exactly. Well, as businesses grow, just like if you were building a Lego model, if it grows, you're going to have to change it eventually, for it to fit. And the way our business has been growing lately, we just need to start looking in other directions. You know what I mean? We've been kind of on one path right now, and it's been going great. Everybody loves the food. We've been loving the reactions of the public. Can't complain. but we want to give people back a little more too. We want to also show them the versatility of Cajun food. Cajun food is such a diverse cuisine because it not only represents our culture, but it has this very specific flavor to it. Like if you taste a Cajun dish, you know it's Cajun. But what's beautiful about Cajun food is you can incorporate it into pretty much anything else. You can fuse it with Mexican, you can fuse it with Asian, you can fuse it with Indian, anything you can think of, you can add Cajun flair to it. So that's something we have in our heads that, yeah, we've been showing everybody traditional Cajun. Let's kind of shake it up a little bit and kind of get into the fusion side of it. Let's incorporate other people's tastes, like people who like Mexican, people who like barbecue. Let's show them the Cajun way of doing those things, you know?
Yeah, I like that. Because honestly, when I'm cooking at home, and I love to cook at home, I don't know if y'all can tell, but if I'm like, okay, what am I going to use? I'm sitting there, I don't know what to use with this. Cajun mix. It'll work, right?
That's right.
It'll work.
Well, we need to get you some of our Cajun.
Yeah,
we have our own seasoning.
We have our own
Marty
seasoning
G's,
blend.
Marty G's Cajun seasoning.
Okay.
We have our own seasoning blend that we developed, and our own spices and herbs and everything in the blend. And
It's got your favorite Cajun taste to it, but a quarter of the salt you'll find in anything else either.
Okay.
So very low on sodium, but still got that very strong Cajun flavor to it.
Okay, and y'all have it for sale?
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay, where, like, you have the location just out of your truck, or?
No, we have it in a couple of stores in Louisiana and a few other places that are trying to sell it. Over here, we've been trying to get it into the local big supermarkets.
Yeah,
it's taken some time for me to do that. And but we had this one company that said they were going to start carrying it for us, and I haven't followed through with it yet. But for now, people can call me, go online, order it through our website, or they can call me, or they can stop by at our trailer, wherever they see us set up at. Where we do a lot of the events around Midland and Odessa too, but we go all over actually. And wherever we set up at, we keep it on the trailer so people can buy it off the trailer.
Okay.
Off the food trailer.
Yeah, I'm excited to try it.
Yeah,
for sure.
Everybody's loving it. We've got a lot of repeats that I get people that drive in from Andrews, Seminole, Odessa, everywhere else to buy the seasoning, to get our seasoning.
Just to buy the seasoning?
Just to buy the seasoning.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's been a hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, how does that work as the food truck? Do y'all just set up random locations, or do you go just do events? And how does that operate?
Well, when we first started, we were doing the normal setup in a parking lot in one of the local businesses parking lots and set up and stuff. That's how we got our foot in the ground. And then we joined some other groups of food trucks that were doing events like the Food Truck Battle and the Food Truck Alley. We joined those groups, and it was more of us getting exposure out. We needed to get the exposure, needed to get our name out. So that wasn't, as an entrepreneur and as a business owner, there's not very much money in that, because it was like a marketing scheme for us. Not a scheme, but a marketing activity for us to be able to get our name out and get the exposure out, because people needed to try us, needed to see us, and know that we are authentic, that we're the real stuff. We're not making this up. It's not just somebody that woke up and decided, let's try to cook Cajun. This is the real stuff. So we did that for about the first year. And as we were doing that, we started getting more requests to do events and activities being held around Midland and Odessa and everywhere else. So we started doing called the Horseshoe, all the concerts at the Horseshoe Arena. We did a lot of concerts. We do anything going on in town. Most of the time they'll call us and invite us to go set up at the events and stuff. And then we do a lot of caterings too. We got into the catering with the other trailer when we're not balling crawfish, the second trailer that we talked about, the original Permian trailer. We also have it set up to do caterings and stuff, where we do a lot of rig caterings for all companies. We go out to the rig sites and cook for the guys with either one of the trailers, really. But the small trailer, we do a lot of catering. We have our own tables that we rent out, the big 5-foot round tables with chairs, and we have the big tents and everything. And we actually make it a party for some of the time, because that trailer has a TV on the outside. We have chicken block game, cornhole games.
Wow.
We have a sound system.
We have 2 mobile bar setups.
We have mobile bar.
DJ that comes with us.
Yeah.
Okay.
We sell the experience as well as the catering. You know what I mean?
And and a few times, a bunch of times, we have requests where we bring both trailers out. the small trailer has all the tables and tents and games and sound system and TV. And like you said, we have a DJ that follows us. We have mini bars where, where we can serve. And then we also bring the food truck to supply the food. So when people call us for weddings or birthday parties or even funerals or any kind of, we did gender reveal parties, and we've done all kind of other activities that people want to have gatherings for, but they don't want to have the trouble of having to call this person or that person. Everything. They call us and we supply it all. Yeah. We have it all for them.
So that's so cool. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Like in all that's on your website?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And we do all the events like that and stuff. And back to the setting up on side the road thing, the everyday type stuff, we get phone calls every day. Where are you at today? Where are you located today? I tell everybody, follow us on Facebook and Instagram, because that's where I use to post where our locations are going to be and what we're going to be doing. We decided not to stop doing the actual side the road thing, because with our kind of food and being our food is entree, most, like he said, the 4 big entrees that we have, it's kind of risky to do our food like that. Our food is more or less prepared already, and we have a quick turnaround at the window. Our time at the window is right about 5 minutes, I think it is.
The longest 5 minutes, that's it.
Wow.
Yeah, 5-minute turnaround.
That's the longest wait, yeah.
You're usually waiting for a good 10, 15,
exactly.
20.
Yeah.
We're pretty proud of our turnaround time.
Yeah,
something we wanted from day one is fast. We wanted fast service, and that's literally the longest you'll wait is 5 minutes.
Man, that's good. That's good for cash flow.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah.
Get them in, get them out.
And people want that. When you go to the window and you order your food, you don't want to be thinking about your food for 20 minutes.
Right.
Getting your food, and then you got to hurry up and scarf it down in 10 minutes because you only got a 30-minute lunch break or whatever,
Yeah.
To where us, we can turn that. When you decide what you want, we're going to get it for you,
By the time our whoever's in the window taking the order, by the time they're done with your transaction, your plate's already in the bag being handed to you,
Yeah.
So we're proud of ourselves on how quick we are.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, and that also helps out on the caterings that we do. We do a lot of like rig caterings and stuff. We go to rig sites and cook. And those guys only have a certain amount of time to eat. They have to get in and get going. So that's what we do for them too. We do a lot of rig catering. We go all over from Call to Hobbs to south of Pecos. We go east of here. We're all over the place. I mean, and a lot of the oil companies like that because we offer them, most of the time we offer like two, 3 different entrees for the guys to come. Because you got some guys that don't eat seafood, don't want crawfish. Right. Some don't want this, some don't want that. So we offer them a little versatility on what they can get for their food, but at the same time we can turn it around for them. Uh-huh. And then we also do, you were talking about the events and stuff, we also do community events too, like at the city of Coleman, Texas. We went down there one year for their Christmas festival, and we had such a great response from the people. The people loved us down there. We promoted it for about 3 weeks, and we had people at the window with money in their hand saying, "We've been waiting for you for 3 weeks,
Take my money."
And I mean, it's like, so now every time Coleman has some kind of activity, they call us and invite us to go down there. We went do one about 2-3 months ago. We were down there again, and we spent a good long weekend for the professional rodeo they had down there. They call us. Well, now we're booked damn near the whole month of October for Coleman, Texas. So we're going to be down there for 3 weeks with the people in Coleman. And but we do it in Hobbs. We've done some we're going to be in McCamey, Texas too in September. So we do have a bunch of activities like that.
Get around. And like, so I can't help but think, but you have a lot of these people know about you because of Marty G. Mm-hmm. Like you came out here for the oil field.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of oil field contacts.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And in fact, the big barbecue cook-off they got coming up at the Rockhound Stadium, baseball stadium at the end of September. Every year we get booked for our tables and chairs and our events, our event activities. And this year we're going to be in two different setups over there. We're not participating in the barbecue cook-off, but the companies that hire us to give an alternative to the people that are there for the barbecue cook-off. Right. And so like one of the setups we're going to have for this big oil company, we're going to have the tents set up with the chairs and tables and fancy tablecloths and all that. And he'll be in the food truck and be cooking right behind there, serving out our Cajun food. And then the other one is set up with the mini bars and it's a whiskey cigar booth or whatever.
What? Okay.
Yeah. So we're going to be set up with those things too. So
Man.
we're very versatile in helping people with whatever kind of event, whatever kind of activity they have. We do grand openings for some local businesses that just did they just opened a new office over here. So about 2 weeks ago, we went to a big grand opening for this one company.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all dipping into everything.
We are.
Yeah.
We're not going to say, we don't say no.
Right. Say yes and figure it out.
That's right. That's it. Yes and figure it out.
That's how I ended up here. I said yes. And I'm still figuring it out. But, having fun doing it.
That's it.
That's right.
So what are there any like major obstacles that you've had to overcome? Like you started the business, you started a food truck, you're going, you're making money. Or, and then maybe something just like, oh man, I don't know, you have to rethink, like you had to pivot, you had to change something, because you were like, this is an obstacle we have to overcome. Is there anything like, what, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, what have you had to?
I don't think we've had many major obstacles in our way other than, just the daily grind of, the market. Some days are slow, some days aren't, some months are slow,
Yeah.
So just getting through the regular grind of a small business, I'd say that's just the biggest obstacle, is keeping your head down and staying focused every single day, knowing even though like some days we know like how it was getting back to our first year when sometimes we had to go sit out, I was in the truck every day, sometimes 12, 14 hours a day, not expecting customers, but having to sit in there knowing I had to be in there just so people could see the truck. So we got our exposure, That was probably some of our biggest obstacles, is just to start, really getting out there and getting people to know us and stuff. It was a lot of long hours put into those, a lot of daily grinding that we just had to stick it out,
The perseverance of it.
Perseverance, yes, sir.
Yeah.
And I'd say, other than that, it's the weather, really. If it rains, we can't take out the trailer, which doesn't happen too much. But the cold, roads freeze over and stuff. That's the only thing. It's like, that's more not really as a business obstacle, but as a hazard. That's really the only thing is safety.
Right.
Other than that, we've been blessed with a pretty easy road to success. I'm happy to say that it's been challenging at times, but I'd say no major obstacles really in the way of our business.
Yeah, because you're seems like you're coming from a good foundation, right?
Right.
You had a good idea at the good place at a good time.
We also started in the middle of COVID, so it kind of gave us a little room to practice and really work out the kinks before going open to the public, because we were kind of after it about 4 months before everything opened back up. So by the time everything opened back up, we knew where our weak points are. We knew what we had to work on. We knew what didn't work. We knew what we had to change. So we saw the kinks before we were even a thing. So we hit the ground running pretty fast.
Yeah, and then you look back.
And we
That's
didn't
right.
stop.
Right.
That's the key. We didn't stop. Even though, like he said, he was sitting in the truck for 12, 14 hours a day, we kept it open. And at the end of the day, you're looking at the finances and say, golly, we really didn't do anything this month, this week, today, or this week, or this month. You got to stick with it. You got to stick with it, because in our business, it goes back to the exposure thing. It's all about getting that word out, getting that exposure out. Being on TV helped us out a lot. But word of mouth is everything.
It's king. Nothing beats word of mouth.
Nothing beats
and
word of mouth.
especially right now with social media age, just a simple Snapchat post, has done wonders for us.
Exactly.
Someone comes order a plate, they take a quick picture of our food truck, and they post it. Works magic, man. My biggest advice to anybody listening, if you want to support a small business, just share it. That's it. That's the biggest thing you can do. It's free.
It's free.
It takes a second, just share it.
And it helps so much. It's such a big help for people, to do that for us, to go on Facebook or Instagram and just like and share, and post what you can, post what you got. It's a big help for us.
Yeah.
And that's about our only main obstacle that I would relate to on my side would be the getting that exposure out,
Mm-hmm.
And, when I first started the food truck business, when we first started the food truck business, one of the things I learned and I was told by other food truck owners, which we talked about earlier, there's one guy that he's just dynamic, but in the food truck business, you get what you put into it,
Mm-hmm.
and you get what you put out, So if you want, a lot of other businesses tend to be kind of self-promoting at some point. Food truck is not really self-promoting that much. You have to be out there promoting it. You have to be wherever the action's at, wherever the people's at, whatever it takes to get it done, to get your exposure, get your name out, get the word out. You have to be there for them, and the people have to experience it. So that's one of the things that we do too. We don't offer just a product, just a food. You come to the window, get your food, and you go. No, we're gonna clown with you. We're gonna laugh with you. We give you the Cajun experience. It's an experience when you deal with us, especially when we do caterings. The big catering parties and stuff. We're out there with you. We're not gonna be behind the scenes and just say, okay, this is what you get, and take it or leave it. No, we're going to give you the experience. We're going to show you the Cajun experience, the fun that we are,
Yeah.
And so even when you come to the window at anywhere you see us, you come to the window, we're going to make an experience with you. Some people they laugh their tails off because they'll come to the window and they try to pronounce the food like etouffee or pasta or something. They try to pronounce it, and I tell them, I say, you can't eat it if you can't say it, So we tend to make them, they start laughing and they start trying to pronounce it, and then finally they say, okay, how you pronounce it? So I tell them, and then when they finally get it right, then I say, okay, you can have your food now,
You may eat now.
Yeah, I don't want people eating something that they can't pronounce. I want you to be able to say what you're eating.
Right.
Tell the next person.
Yeah, because we want people to share it, and if they're saying the wrong word to somebody.
Yeah, so we make it a fun experience for people,
Yeah, and you know what? That's a great point too. It's the customer experience.
Oh yeah,
right. Like you're just not serving food. It is the experience, man.
Yeah.
And like you were right. We were talking about he actually sponsors this podcast.
Ruben.
Pachucos, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. So that's a guy there who he gives you the experience.
That's right.
You walk into Pachucos, even when it was a food truck, you're getting the experience of Pachucos.
That's right.
Right. You're not just eating barbecue. You're eating Pachucos.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
And that's what we want to kind of give the same kind of feeling when you come to our food truck. You're not just getting Cajun food. You're getting
Marty G.
You know what I mean? It's a little different.
Yeah, and then I love you're talking about the menu and expanding into some fusion.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, that's Pachucos is doing that.
Yeah.
Perfection. Right.
Exactly.
And that's another story, and the culture that's coming to Midland, right? Like you guys and Pachucos, Buffalo Joe's, right? Like there's a handful of others that started as food trucks.
Mm-hmm.
And they're in brick and mortars and they're growing, right? So I think it speaks to the local culture and acceptance of there's other foods out there.
Yes.
Right.
Right. And let's try that, right? Oh, I want some of that, right? Because, with Cajun, you have some good Cajun, you want to go back because you only really get it when you go to the coast or something, right? Out of town, right?
Right.
So, but here in West Texas, it is hard to come by a good authentic Cajun meal, right? Or something that what Ruben's putting together,
right?
It's rare, it's unique for the area, so it's gonna hit, right? And it gives people that experience, because it's not just another hamburger,
right? Exactly.
Which
that's what we're looking for.
I will say this city has been very supportive of small businesses, and not only just ours, but I've noticed in food trucks in general, it's everybody. Like I like the support of this city they give to small businesses.
Absolutely.
Not just ours, but ours like ours. It's good to be in a community that supports like that. That wants to see people thrive and go on to the next level. Not too many small towns you can go. Well, not saying it's a small town, but we're from a small town. You don't really see too many people who make it and have too much support behind it as well. It's more so along that snarky attitude that these guys,
right.
They're trying to do this. They're trying to do that. Like, over here is people get excited when you start talking to them about your aspirations, ambitions, and
100%.
stuff like that. They want to see you do it. They want to see success. And I've noticed out here is a overwhelming support,
For sure.
not for just us, but businesses in general. So
I have a
Great
theory.
place for business.
It really is. It really is, man. And I have a theory about that, right? I think it's because it's the pioneer mindset, right? You know, who's going to come out to the desert to live, right? You know,
without working.
Right. You got to want it. You got to want it out here.
yeah, you know, but it goes back to what founded this whole area, the wildcatters, right? It's out there, you know, hey, I'm going to take a risk, right? So there's a lot of people out here whose parents and grandparents were risk takers.
Right.
They're risk takers, right? So that's the entrepreneur spirit, right? You can't be an entrepreneur if you're not willing to sacrifice something and take the risk.
Got to be in your blood, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Some people just aren't built for that type of life.
A lot of people aren't, right? But it seems like out here we support that.
Yes, yes,
You know, we support that mindset, that trailblazing. Hey, go make something happen. You know, do good, and you know, there's a lot of people here. They give to the community.
Right.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's very supportive in that regard, and like I think it's a great place and a great time to be here because it has changed so much over these last 10 years. Like that entrepreneur spirit's always been here, but I think now it's becoming more, what do you call it? I don't know if the word is inclusive or it's
exploding.
It's coming together more to where
Right.
it's making sense to.
I'd say inclusive is good because I feel very included. You know, one of my biggest things moving here was, you know, just a South Louisiana boy going to the desert where I don't know anybody trying to make my business work, you know. It's kind of scary to think how people will accept you. But I've noticed we've been very accepted here, if not embraced, you know. People embrace us here. It's like they want us here, you know. You try to go to some cities and try to open up a business and stuff. Most of the time you'll get ousted, you know, or shunned just because you're in someone else's land trying to make a way. You know, I found out here that people have been very receptive to us, very embracive to us too, which is it's been very good to have that kind of support, you know, going from, you know, we both left everything behind in Louisiana, our families, everything, you know, so this was something very mentally challenging to overcome, to want to do this, you know, and just the people here, the community, you know, how much they've accepted us. That's something that's been a huge factor in our growth, you know, as a business. It's just the support we've had from the community.
Yeah.
So I'm very thankful for that.
That's awesome. I love to hear that. Love to hear that, man. Well, hey, do you guys have any parting words for entrepreneurs here in the Permian Basin? That was pretty good. You know, thank you to the community for sure, man. But I don't know if you got anything you want to throw out there, man. Like, throw everything out there. Like, how can they contact you? How can they get you for events? How can they try your food?
Right. Well, the best thing I tell everybody, the best thing to do to keep up with us and to see us is follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Marty G'S Cajun Eats, all one word. And I post a lot on there of where we're going to be at and what we're doing. And also my phone is on there too. My phone number is 337-319-0616. Don't be afraid to call us. We work with you. We do not only the big events around town, anytime they have any kind of activity in town, be on the lookout for us because we're probably going to be there. You know, we don't turn very much down. And then on the catering part, like we said, we do a lot of private catering, private parties, private events and stuff. That too, and on the catering side, on that side, we work with you. We don't have everything cut in stone as more or less packages. If you want this, you got to do this, or you're going to get this. We can cater to whatever you need, whatever you want, whatever size it is. Too, we have the capabilities of doing from 20 people to hundreds of people. You know, on the catering side. And so, just get in touch with us and follow us and follow the excitement that we love to push and we love to promote the excitement and support others, you know. You're talking about community support and stuff. A lot of the events that I get booked on, that we get requested to, they also ask me if I could bring in any other food trucks with me, anybody else that I would know of that would want to go. We're not the type of business that we shun out anybody else just because we're going to be there. We don't want this or this, that, you know. We bring in others too. We bring in other food trucks. So even if you have an event coming up that you want to have multiple venues of food, multiple choices of food rather than just ours, I can set that up too. We have people that we work with. We work with other food trucks that we the Mexicans, the barbecue trucks, the whatever it is. We work with a lot. I'm friends with a lot of the other food trucks. We're not competitors. I don't look at them as competitors. We're not competitors. We have our own dishes, our own experience, our own style that we bring into the party. We're not worried about competition. Not to say not worried about competition, but we're not competitors with the others. So a lot of the other food trucks do relate to me. We talk a lot. We share a lot. We work with each other and stuff. So if you have needs, any kind of needs like that, just get in touch with me.
And that's how it should be.
That's right.
Because there's...
And again, that all comes from what I learned from Ryan LeJeune with Downtown Seafood. Him and I are best friends too. We work together on things. And also, but Ruben was the one that was so good for that, for working with other food trucks and promoting others.
Yeah.
And he was the one that kind of showed me the light on not being a competitor or not being...
Right. Not trying to take everything and hold it in yours, because
share.
There's plenty for everybody.
It is. Business doesn't always have to be cutthroat, especially in the food industry. There's so many. There's just enough out here.
People eat every day.
Exactly.
A couple times a day.
Exactly. Yes.
And that was one of the things that the other Cajun truck over here shared with me too. When we first started the business, when I first started thinking about the business, and he came here, I went to him for a little bit of guidance. And the first thing he told me, because he was coming to some of my tailgating parties, and was pushing me to do this too. And he said that, man, there's plenty to go around out here. He said there's no need. So now we all good. We work with everybody, you know. We don't shun out. We don't play the competitive game.
Yeah, and I think that's the best way to go about it.
Absolutely.
Like the entrepreneurs that I've had here, I've been blessed to have here on this podcast, they have that mindset, right? Like during the pandemic, Mayor Morales, he has a restaurant, and I think he got called with another restaurant they ran out of chips, and their supply chain, they couldn't get chips in. So Jerry's like, I'll take over a couple boxes.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because if that competitor fails, well, the whole community loses.
That's right.
Right. So if we could keep each other.
We've done that in our business too. Or with other food trucks around, somebody runs out of some, or they end up buying for some, we share, we share. I mean, we've done that plenty of times too.
It's just better for everybody if everyone's doing good,
Yes.
And it works out for everybody.
And when you can do stuff like that, in my opinion, when you can do things like that, work with your other people in the business, like that means you're comfortable in your business.
Yes.
That means you're set, and it's a reflection to the public as far as, is he comfortable in his business? Is he going to be okay with his business? It shows that you're supportive of other people and not just being a greedy hog.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what it's all about. Man.
I love it, man. I love it.
All about.
Yeah, well, guys, we'll say your phone number again and your website so people know.
Okay. The website and the Instagram and Facebook and everything. Actually, the website is Marty G'S Cajun Eats.com.
There you go.
Or you can just type in MartyG's.com and it'll come up to it too. I got both. It's like the Marty G's is linked to Marty G's Cajun
Point at
Eats.
it, yeah.
So you can go straight to just MartyG's.com. The Instagram and Facebook is Marty G's Cajun Eats. Hashtag whatever, I don't know what all that is. But
hashtag $.
Yeah, with hashtag $. I want to eat. I want Cajun, but a lot of the on Google is the same thing. At Google, you say I want to eat Cajun food, boom, we coming up.
You coming up?
Yeah, you on Yelp and other stuff like that too. Some places we do DoorDash and Uber Eats, but we haven't been using that very much because of the way we're moving around so much now. But I'm in talks right now with Favor, the delivery service Favor. I'm in talk with them right now because they're more versatile as to being able to support us wherever we at in moving locations. So we in talk with them too. So you can be on the lookout for those too.
Okay. And your phone number one more time.
Okay, 337-319-0616.
There you go, folks.
Yeah, we bring in the 337 to the 432.
So that's what, hey, man. So there you go, folks. Hit up Marty G's for Good Cajun Eats, events. They bring the whole party, bring Mardi Gras to you, right? So love it, man. Love the experience that y'all are giving the Permian Basin. We are blessed to have y'all here. And Looking forward to y'all's growth and where y'all going. And man, you know, when we hit some milestones, let's get you back on the show and
We will.
do it all over again.
That'd be great.
All right. Well, thank y'all for coming on.
Thanks for having
Thank
us.
you for having us. Appreciate
And
it.
thanks for everybody listening. Thanks for the support we've had. And as always, laissez le bon temps rouler.
Man, I don't know what he said, but it sounded awesome.
That means let the good times roll.